Today's Toy Spot, we're having a look at the NECA Toys RoboCop vs. Terminator Flamethrower. This particular RoboCop also features the spring holster version, as opposed to the other rocket launcher RoboCop that we looked at was based on the original released RoboCop. Looks like he comes with an extremely large flamethrower, also comes with a flamethrower attachment, and comes packaged in the same packaging that we saw before with the rocket launcher version. Spot would also like to correct himself from his previous video, because I mentioned with the rocket launcher RoboCop, he had all the extra fiery attachment. So if you wanted to get an original version of RoboCop, you could always go default back to the NES version. Technically though, I mean, the flamethrower version does have a bare bones RoboCop that doesn't have extra flame on it. So between this and the rocket launcher version, you can have both versions of RoboCop represented. For your back of the packaging, once again, we've got RoboCop in a realistic sculpted scene from the RoboCop vs. Terminator game. A very brief read-up says, in the crumbling ruins of a world under siege, Man-Machine meets Machine-Man as legendary cyborgs clash to decide the fate of the Earth. To check out more from the folks over at NECA Toys, you can go to www.necaonline.com. Spot's going to take a break and get this opened up, and when we come back, we're going to get a better look at RoboCop with his flamethrower. There's more Henue, guys. Don't go anywhere. Stay tuned. The accessories that come with RoboCop are this very large gun here, a large flamethrower attachment. Also cast in the, well, painted in the purple, the light blue, and a gray, similar to what we're going to be looking at soon with RoboCop. There's a little bit of a copper treatment given to the wires as well as the rim around the barrel here, just to kind of break it up a bit. But for the most part, it follows the same color treatment that we see with RoboCop here, as well as the rocket launcher RoboCop that we already had a look at. There are a couple of attachments as well, one of which being the flame attachment. Kind of very much like a spreader gun. It starts small and branches off into 3 individual flames. Those are all translucent with connector points in clear. So from a distance, it gives you that indication that it looks like it's a free floating piece. The end, if you guys can see, the end of the clip here is rounded. It's almost like a round crescent, half moon shape there. And the end of the barrel kind of looks like Batman, but no, it's a little curved piece on the sides and a little marker indentations in the middle. So you want to take this, and because it's curved, you're going to line it up with the curved side. You can do either side if you want, but I'm just going to do it on this side here. You line it up, and that just slides into place like that. So you've got the propelled flame attack. But there's also that little groove there that we were looking at already. And they include this secondary piece, which is the actual end of the flamethrower. So what you want to do is there's a larger tab at the bottom, smaller tab at the top. You want to take this and line the 2 pieces up. Might be a little harder because you've got the flame already in there, but that slides just into place like that. And it conceals that connector point right here. So it gives you that look like it's been shot from the flamethrower. That's a really nice touch. Much larger too than the rocket launcher that we looked at before. The flamethrower, you just take RoboCop here, bend his elbow. You can take it and be careful, like with this piece right here. This is a very fragile piece of plastic, so when you put it into RoboCop's hand, make sure you're kind of grabbing it and attaching it from the top of the flamethrower rather than holding it from here. So you have something that looks like this. Now, it'd be nice if they had included like a stand, something to kind of prop this up. Because it's so long, it tends to be a little top heavy for RoboCop. So if they had given us like a little clear stand, that certainly would have helped as well. It's probably a little too big for my liking, so if when the time comes, and the time will come very soon that Spot displays this, I probably will display it maybe without the flame attachment. I'll just take this right off. But when you take this off, do be careful of this piece right here. So put that to the side, and let's have a look at RoboCop. I mean, really, like, if you haven't picked up the NES RoboCop, this gives you everything that you need. And again, Spot wanted to correct himself from the previous review where I said, you know, it makes me really want to go back and pick up the original NES RoboCop. For all intents and purposes, the NES RoboCop is right here. It isn't using the original RoboCop that we looked at before. In fact, I'll put him down right here, and we'll bring in the rocket launcher RoboCop that we looked at already. This one actually uses the spring holster, or the original RoboCop. This one here, however, uses the spring holster. So there is that little tab. Whoops, let's not drop RoboCop here. There's a little spring holster on this clip there, and when you press that up, it deploys. Let me just move his arm out of the way here. It deploys the Auto 9 inside his holster. And you can remove this if you so wish. You can take the Auto 9 completely out of his holster. But it's, once again, it's a little harder to kind of get your finger in there to remove the Auto 9. But you can get your finger in there we go, and pull it right out. You can leave the holster so open as well if you also wish. And the Auto 9 been given the same paint treatment as the RoboCop and his accessories. Blue, a little bit of white in the highlights, and the black handle. We can take that, put that into RoboCop's hand, like that. And there you have, that's actually a great way to display him, just like that. There you have RoboCop with his Auto 9. On a paint level, they're roughly about the same. This one's much more battered and also has the additional flame on his head, as well as the flame paint on his shoulder and back there as well, reflecting from the fire. This RoboCop won't have that, but he does have some nice shine treatment given to the front of his face, the front of his helmet, and he's given that dark purple that I really love on the back of his helmet, as well as the entire back section of RoboCop. Still has the highlights in the lighter purple, still has the highlights in the lighter blue, but really it's painted very cool. I mean, it's, if you love the NES treatment, I say NES treatment, but if you love the video game treatment characters that NECA have been producing, you are absolutely going to love these guys. We're just going to remove RoboCop, the rocket launcher RoboCop, out of the way. If you haven't seen the review, you can go head over there and check it out on my channel. But we just take the holster section there and we just close this back up. You have to be careful as well when closing the holster that it doesn't snag on itself, but there you go, it closes up. And just showing you the transition from the darker purple to the kind of a darker blue to the white, or the lighter blue to the white. It transitions really neat. It also allows NECA the opportunity to explore creative new ways to paint their figures too. I'm sure, like, the paint end of the company over at NECA loved the fact that they could go back and look at like your Rambos, your RoboCops, figures that have been painted and presented before in a very realistic approach. It kind of gives them a chance to go back and have a little more fun with it and paint them in a more dynamic, cool way, if you ask me. The face, though, is very nice. I just love that kind of, it's almost like cell shaded is probably the best way I can describe it. It's got a very cell shaded look to it. But I find RoboCop especially, this blue is just gorgeous. It's very similar also to the same blue that they used for the video game Predator that we've also had a look at. When it comes to his articulation, it would be the same as you would expect from the RoboCop piece from NECA. It has the nice ball joint in the head, ball hinge socket shoulders, which a little stiffer, but you can get the move out forward and back. He has the bend at the elbow, swivel at the forearm, which again very stiff, but swivel in the forearm. A ball joint upper torso, swiveled waist, and then the legs go forward, back, out. A bend at the knee, and I think he also has a swivel, which I mentioned before, but doesn't swivel too much, just a bend at the knee, and then the hinged feet. So there you go. Spot's also going to be, of course, having a look at the the Terminators from this line as well. If you ask me, it's a win. Like RoboCop Terminator A was a win for the teaming up between the two properties. But NECA acquiring the license of RoboCop was A, the first win we got, and then B, being able to present it in a RoboCop versus Terminator treatment is, again, win after win after win. I love this guy. I mean, if you probably, if you didn't play the games, I don't know, maybe you might not gravitate as much to them. But if you kind of grew up with this generation of video games and you loved the RoboCop vs. Terminator property, you probably are really going to dig this figure. Paint is so cool. I love the purple to the light blue transitions. RoboCop, I'm going to give him actually an 8.5. Today's toy spot, we're having a look. Let's get him posed here. There we go. Today's toy spot, we're having a look at the NECA Toys RoboCop versus Terminator. We're having a look at RoboCop, the flamethrower version. Stay tuned, guys. Spot's going to have more videos heading your way. Thanks for watching, as you always do. I'll see you next time.